So now we are at the part 3 where we have installed everything, and then directory where the Python we're not doing this. Let's see existing setup. Searching, it is searching in itself where the setup is, and just to make sure if we did it right, then we should see the environment variables where they are, right? So if I go here, it did ESP, we did this, we did the, what did we do? This is the IDF, we did the ADF part. Where does keep disappearing, man? So ADF export, we did Windows, Linux. Where is that? Damn, why? Recursive clone install, we did this, right? And we ran and we didn't do this. So let's see what do we get. If I run this path, it should show me this, but I think I'm supposed to do this ADF path to show the path. Yes, permission denied, but it is here, right? Because this is created in, let's see, if I go to cdf and .esp, this is the folder that it created, and right now it doesn't have the permission, so I might have to add the permission because the Visual Studio Code may not be able to find it. Clean IDF setup, search ESP IDF in the system. Fine, let's just do this. Enter ESP IDF path. Let's see if I have the IDF path. So if I do this IDF underscore path, did it set up? Yes, it's set up correctly. It's in the ESP ADF inside the IDF, and enter the ESP tool directory, which is what this one is. So if I do cd to this, then we see this path, right? So this got set up. Select the Python version 3. So now let's see install. So now it is doing invalid ESP ADF. Already satisfied, requirements already satisfied. Why this is invalid ADF? Is it because the ADF didn't get installed? But let me see. Show example projects. It wouldn't show anything because seems like this wasn't set up. Does it mean that I need to set up the IDF as well? It says it's here, but it didn't do it, and that is why it is failing. So let me see, how does it say to install the IDF? This is the ADF. No. So we did this, right? Okay. Git clone ESP ADF, home export, get IDF equals to home ESP, the space between leading and dot path. In the terminal where you install ESP IDF, run this. So let's run this. Alternately, we want to, this is data. Okay, let's see from the beginning. Setting up ESP IDF, right? Oh, so there was more thing that we were supposed to do. We did this and we did this, and then we need to do this, which we didn't, but because we want to do. This is the detailed roadmap walk through the installation process. Creator first set up ESP IDF, which is what we didn't get, right? So this is the guide uses directory ESP on Linux and Mac OS, or ESP file on Windows. So we're not doing that. On Windows you're supposed to do this. Let's do this, and then, but we did this already. Set up the environment, and then we'll let's try to run this where ESP IDF. What is it saying? Before making ADF projects, on each new session, each tool should be added to the path environment variable to make the tools usable from the command line. Variables must be set. ADF provides scripts which does that. On the Windows, create ESP IDF command prompt shortcut. So Windows we're not doing. In the terminal where we installed ISEDF run. So maybe, okay, and so we go to our ADF and run this, right? So if I go to cd esp/ESP ADF, and which is what it is. So I should just be able to, so if I do cd this, I'm at home. Now if I run this, and it is doing all that, and pull the, so has been detected, supposed to have set up. Note that a spam-related.path. You can also create a script with this can be done. So I can, because the IDF was not found, right? So now the IDF is set up. Note that recommended source from the profile doing IDF virtual environment every terminal session. Start a project. So if I go to now this and we do this, CP ADF get started control. So I'm now, what should it have happened? It should have copied to examples, guys. There is a range of example project in the example directory. Copy project in the same way as presented above and run it. It's also possible to build example in place copy without them. Connect your device. So it's saying next is to connect device. So this is to do Python based setup, and we want to do the Visual Studio setup. So maybe there was the link where we were following the whole this thing, right? So let me see if this can now find. Okay, let's try again installing. Why is it saying invalid ESP IDF? Maybe I'll restart the studio code and then I go to this guy, which is our ESP IDF, right? Doc search result. Okay, let's go to this IDF ESP IDF here, and then let's say configure this extension, and then select where, and I should, maybe I use the express as was told in this, because since we have installed everything, it should be able to get everything from the paths that we have set up. This is the Visual Studio Code. This extension, I'm trying to look where the whole instruction for setting up the here, right? Yeah, VS Code setup. We do use the, let's say, 4.3 release version. So if I say express, then ESP find in your system correct, it is showing that. And then if I say install, why I'm getting invalid this thing. So let's say if I should do release brand, because then I want to make sure that it is in line with what the version supposed to be, right? EDF and IDF versions. Here it said no. Where is it? Somewhere we saw the table, right? Yeah, here, right? So we should, if we are not doing this, ESP ADF master is so this works, but let's be conservative and install IDF 4.3. Okay, and then we will be able to use any of that, right? ADF, ESP ADF, all release versions. So IDF 4.3. So let's say 4.3. Okay, and we say this. Okay, and this, and we say install. So it's gonna install this version, but the problem is it's gonna download the whole thing again, which we went through big time before, right? And this is gonna be little slow. I don't get it why it didn't work with all the setup that we did, and only Express has to be done again. And this is really slow to download. So what I will do is I will set up and use again my mobile phone instead, so that the download is faster, and then we will see where we get. Should I cancel it and restart, because I changed the IP and probably it's gonna get stuck. Let's try that. Okay, I'll say install again. Which version did I choose? 4.3, so that's okay. So now it's downloading much faster. So it shouldn't take that long. But then what's gonna happen is that it's gonna go into the ESP folder, and where I had the EDF. So just now we did that thing, right? So actually, if I open this folder, it may not work because the toolchain is not set up. So let's say if I open a new version of this and say find open folder, and I go to ESP and play control, and if I did this, and then okay, yes, I trust this author, and if I did build, I can do a build from here, or I can use the bottom one, which is which one? This is the build, ESP build project, the terminal process. So it says IDF is not configured. So I guess we need to do that process and wait for this to be completed. So that's the complexity of setting up the whole thing and making it compile. We can wait. I've spent a bunch of time doing this the whole day today, so hopefully can finish it today itself. Meanwhile, if my last video is complete, then I will upload that. Yeah, so this is complete. Let's upload that. So if I go to my YouTube, and your videos. So this is the part 1. So let's add the part 2. Desktop part, date added, part 2, set up the tool chain for ADF, and we go next. Yes, made for kids. Next, make it public, publish. So while that happens, let it happen in the but now I hope it does not slow down my download speed of this guy. It's downloadable, right? So I guess download and upload does not slow things down. Let's hope so. Or has it actually slowed down it? Cancel upload. Cancel it. We will try again later once this thing is done. Okay, so now I ended up doing the Express and 4.3, right? So now if we see, it can show the example projects and it is showing from ESP ADF. And let's say I get on with the create using the hello world, and let's say we save it in ESP folder itself. Okay, and we did this. Yes, I trust this author, and then I say build this project, which we can do from here or we can do from here. So now configure make, so it's successfully building the project, so that works, right? So that's a good news. So that's good news. If I go to main, and then I can see here, this is what it is, and so it's building perfectly fine. So that's a great news. Yes, but now if I see if it can do the ADF projects also, which we did add. So if I go here in the ESP folder, we created this play mp3, right? So let's say if play mp3, and let's say if I build it now, then what does it do? Why does it say no such file directory? Maybe I close this, and so this was able to build it, right? However, in the show example projects, use current IDF projects, it shows, but it does not show the ADF projects. And why not? Do not know. So if I say configure ESP ADF extension, and then it's getting the ESP and advanced tool directory, this is what it is all about, right? However, now this is the problem I'm trying to solve, right? That how do we get the ADF to work? So right now we are able to compile, but we aren't able to connect the device. So here is the device I have, right? And here is the 2 wires I need for this, and it has the reset and the boot button that has to be pressed. I will show that later. And these are the 2 wires where it will go. So we'll do that in the next video. Okay, so after digging around a bit, I found this, and then that's what we're gonna set up to add the ADF into this project, right? So we go here, and then preferences, open user settings, and here, just like there is the IDF path, we're gonna add the ADF path. So let's call it ADF path, ADF path, which is ESP ADF, right? And then I close it, and then I say show example projects. Now we can see the ADF projects, right? So I go here, and then we can see all the ADF examples as well. Okay, now let's say if I click on mp3 control and I say create project, and then I will save it in the ESP folder again. So where's the hello world? Hello world we were able to compile, right, in the previous one, and now we have this. Okay, scan for this computer, just looking for the compiler. So good movement, good success so far. We had the hello world somewhere, right? Did I close it? Yes, I did. Now let's say if I try to build it, build not flash, just build, right? So if I go here, am I able to build? But it is still reopen the container. Reopen the container. No, forget this. What I'll do is I will exit the VS Code and then I will restart the Visual Studio Code, and then here we have, this is the MP3 player project, and then I will say build ESP build flash, right? But it keep complaining about this. However, if I open the other one, open recent, which was the hello world, and I'm able to compile this one. All right, so you see it is able to do that. So this I am not able to understand, where do I need to add to make that happen. So if this is able to find the ninja, now it's looking for the port where it needs to compile, which it can find, but we'll see to that later. However, why I am not able to compile the ADF project while I'm able to compile the EDF projects? So that is very interesting to me, and I do not know how to resolve that at this point. So we'll see to that a little later. Okay, so I finally managed to crack this. How do you get the ADF project? So let's say if I quit my Visual Studio Code and then I start the Visual Studio Code again, and then this is the hello world. It was compiling just fine, but we haven't connected the board yet, which will be doing the next part. So now if I see here and it says show example project, right? Show example projects, and then it says, I say ADF, right? Now if I say mp3 control create using this, then I can save it. Instead, what I could do is I could say here and file open, because we did the whole git thing here, right? And this is our ADF is. So this is the ADF, and then inside is the example projects, right? So there are different folders which you see here, getting started and all that. So if I go to get started and go mp3 control, and then I click on this, and then I say search the compiler, let it search, git extension found in the always, and configure CMake visibility, backup and sync settings, whatever that is. Let's just get rid of that first. Okay, now we can try to build this project, and I click on this part, and now it is building just fine, right? So success so far. Let's see if the build completes, and in the next video we will connect it to device and try to play back using that. Okay, so it's built successfully, and now we will do it to burn it onto the device.